This is a podcast or something like that.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to Verbal Journal, episode 88. And that's right, I'm looking at you because I didn't even say the Verbal Journal number, the Verbal Journal episode number last episode. Felt really bad about that. And I've been really waiting to apologize, and it's just such a relief to be able to get this off my chest. I am so sorry that I didn't say the episode number last time. It was totally unintentional. I'll just say it was episode 87, just in case that's helpful. And I will say I've never made that mistake before. In fact, I've kind of overemphasized the episode number. That's something we've got a lot of notes about here. They're like, hey, can you pay less attention to the episode number? It's not really super helpful, and it's kind of, they say it's just a number is something a lot of people were saying, and I was like, what? It's just a number? You know what I mean? Like, I know. But it's kind of an impressive number, and there's a power in numbers. Let me tell you, there is a power in numbers. For example, you got the rule of threes. That's a famous rule in comedy and just sort of life. You got the, what's another number thing? One is the loneliest number. You have the number 8 is sort of like an infinity symbol if you turn it on its side. But that's none of those three things were not the point, actually. What I'm trying to say is numbers have a special power to them. How do I explain this? You know how like clickbait articles always start with a number? You know, they're like 5 ways to freaking make sure that you never ever have to sleep or something. I don't know. Or like 12 people that you'll meet in heaven or something, you know. I shouldn't say clickbait, just articles in general. It's like a comment. It's part of writing copy. It probably, has a name or a number. And I think that's interesting because I think there's something that grips the attention about a number. It's very objective, I guess. It's very like, it means one thing, unlike names. So you can sort of just hear it and you're like, I know what that is. You know what I mean? I can picture that in my head, 84. I'm picturing 84 right now. Sorry, that's a bad example because I should say 88 because that's the episode number we're on right now. So I'm trying to get that sort of aesthetically into the mix here, the number 88. And this is a night episode, by the way. I'm sorry I haven't said that until now. You're probably like, what the heck is going on? Sorry, that's a rock I was playing with. You're probably like, what the hell is going on? It's because it's a night, so these are artificial lights. What I have in my studio here, which is, I almost called it my apartment because I do live at the podcast studios, but it's not, they tell me all the time, they're like, this is not your home, you know what I mean? Just because we do your laundry, it doesn't mean it's your home. And just because you sleep here and live here, it doesn't mean it's your home, is what they keep telling me. I'm like, okay. I always tell people I live at my podcast studios, and they're like, you do live at your podcast studios, but it's not your home. And I'm like, okay. Is that normal for a boss to say that? I don't know. I guess if I don't own it, I guess that sort of makes sense. But they have the cool thing about it. That's some negative stuff. But the cool thing about it is they do have lights. They have really good lights. There's all kinds of different lights. It's super bright in here. It looks kind of dim from the camera, but that's sort of an effective film. It's actually extremely bright in here. And even this is actually too bright. I meant to turn that off by now. We've been going for 5 minutes. That's not good. We were supposed to turn that off. That was going to be like a gag. I was going to gag on that a little bit. But now it's too dark, right? That's too dark. No? What do we think? Let me know. What do you think? Comment in the bottom. it's kind of nice without it, right? One more try. Oh, yeah, it didn't bother anyone until I pointed it out, but now that I did, I should probably turn it off. Maybe I'll compensate with one of these. Okay. Yeah, actually, that's good. Good. And see, compromise is possible. It sort of faded away, actually. It's fine. So, welcome to the episode 88. Here we have a lot to talk about. We got a great desk section to look forward to. A desks section. And things going good on the main channel. I got, the main channel's going well. We can pull that up right now. Just kind of look at it a little bit. Just kind of appreciate how things are going. Back at 52.4 after dropping to 52.3 after admitting that I was not happy with the results of the recent election. I lost, as I mentioned last episode, I talked about that. I lost a few subscribers who had somehow gotten confused as to my politics. But that's great. And we hit 7K on that. So that's good. But no, the good thing is the channel gets so many views. It's crazy. Like people just watch the videos. Like I get still 100 or 200 views an hour, just mostly on the Breaking Bad video. It's crazy. It's going to hit 5 million really soon. I'll probably do a live stream on YouTube for 5 million views. Wow. That didn't used to be the part that stuck out, or that, whatever they call this, the part that loops, the hover sort of thing when you hover. It changed to this. It's always changing. This one doesn't do it. I don't know why. Oh, there. Yeah, it should. Because the only reason it wouldn't do it is if you got some sort of strike. Not a full-on strike, but if you messed with the copyright situation, if you got a copyright notice, what's it called again? It's been a while. Sorry, I'm pretty good. The fact that I nailed this on my first try, you have to understand, when I had bad experiences with copyright, I think I uploaded the My Little Pony video 15 times, literally. It literally took 15 times, and no clip could be longer than 9 seconds if it had audio with it and was continuous. Sometimes even that was pushing it. And you can't play 9 seconds and then play a very soon after 5 seconds. You have to be very deliberate. I think this is the part that has always been shown, which is funny because it's not from My Little Pony. It's from an Offspring music video. Oh yeah, because they actually played the same song as that Offspring. That was so weird. I kind of want to show that right now. I want to look at that. They seem to take a song. Hold on. Offspring. This is such a great thing of YouTube now that they have transcripts. By the way, I will say, this is something you might care about. I've been working on a YouTube video script. That was the best thing about uploading my video about the election, is it greased the wheels a little bit for me. So, I don't want to go too much into it because I'd like to let this stuff marinate, but I've gotten some productive writing done. I'll tell you that. I've been more motivated to write. I've gotten more productive writing done. Let's check this out a little bit.
The Offspring. It's in a different
key. Epilepsy warning, by the way.
The person apparently doing the indoctrinating. This song by Sprout uses the chord progression of Smells Like Teen Spirit at one point.
Oh, I'm sorry, not The Offspring. Sorry. Oh, it's also The Offspring. Yeah, also The Offspring Self-Esteem, but also Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah, but I heard it as Self-Esteem, I think, because of the melody too.
As this Media Tropes website points out, but what struck me even more is that its chorus, which I'll show, is identical to the beginning of Self-Esteem by The Offspring. It's in a different key, but listen to the beginning of the Offspring song. And this is the chorus of Sprout's song. I'm
come on. Are you kidding me?
Pretty sure they changed the key intentionally because they were everybody knows the beginning of that.
Which makes it more suspicious.
Clearly copying it for the chorus. Your ear.
Did I show the other part of it? No, I didn't. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so anyways, that was interesting. But yeah, that was a good video that really broke open the channel a lot. That helped me get a lot of subscribers. That was my first video, I think, to get 100K or at least close to it. It did really well. But yeah, anyways, the fact that people keep watching this, I'm going to hit 5 million views soon. That's going to be really good. And then we can do oh, really? That's the part that does the hover? Wow, that's this is a legendary scene. And like the complexity of the plot of what they're filming with him and the way they have to compensate for him now having a broken arm without even really explaining what they're doing. And all of this, all of his creativity going into the hustle, all of this unbelievable creativity. So much creativity goes to waste in life. Was there a reason never mind. Okay. Yeah, we're okay. We can stop this. Yeah. I'm actually still looking over to the side because I'm used to doing it, but I will say there's actually no one here with me today, which is unusual for the podcast. So I know, right? It's kind of weird. So no one's here with me today. Usually I'll be talking to Donna, the producer. Sometimes I'll talk to the writers a little bit. Obviously, we have Tom, the marketing person. He'll kind of give me a look every now and then, and I feel like I have to respond to it verbally often because this is the verbal journal. But I am alone here today. I'm actually alone in the studio. It's a night episode, and that's part of why I'm alone. In the past, we have had times where during night episodes, it was just normal. That was usually how we do it for a night episode. We would just have the producers here. We would just pay them some overtime. We would have, the producer, just Donna's the only producer. No, we've had a few back through the years. They were more minor. Yeah, they're not like the lead producer. But overall, it's just kind of, we don't want to pay the overtime, I think was the reason that I was given. They kept telling me this is not your business. And I was like, okay. So, but that's something I overheard from, someone else was like, just tell him that we don't want to pay them overtime. And I was like, okay. So I just heard that and I'm like, okay, that must be the reason. I get it. But that it's strange that they wouldn't, that the other one wouldn't, and that they wouldn't just sit me down and talk with me about it, because it does affect me. It's very different doing this podcast episode when no one's here. I keep it feels so empty. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It feels so empty without Donna. 1 second. I'm getting a phone call. That was Eminem's agents telling me to not cover his song so accurately. Just kidding. No, that was the team. They were saying we don't actually want you to talk too much about our internal conversations, both for entertainment and legal reasons. But I just want to finish the point. The point was, I'm not saying anything revealing. I just think it's interesting that when I'm like, why aren't we paying the staff to work at night anymore? Not just because I wouldn't. I'm saying staff. I'm not referring to Donna. I'm referring to the lower level people. Obviously, Donna is more than just a staff. Not that there's anything wrong with being on the staff. I'm just trying to both compliment Donna, who I'm at an equal level to, vaguely, generally, and also, not insult those who might be alternatively placed on the hierarchy of the Verbal Journal Podcast Institute of Productions Incorporated. It's just interesting to me that I was told why is everyone not being paid to come in anymore for the night episode? Why am I being forced to do this on my own? And is it any part of the reason that we are still in the intro? You know what I mean? And I haven't even progressed out of the intro. Is that can we blame that on the lack of support? And they say, because this is direct, I'm telling you directly what I said to them. And then they said to me, quote, they said to me, quote, you don't have to ask questions about why all the things are happening. Sometimes systems just don't function in the way you would normally think. And you have to go with the flow, and you don't have a choice, and you have to, and you should, and you must. And I said, Elon must. I was trying to be funny. Sorry, I just hit the desk. But I was trying to be funny. I said, Elon must. And they were like they squinted at me. We were very close. We were almost like too close, I would say. We were standing very close to each other. And they have like faces. Their faces kind of come out. I'm talking about the people who on the board. Their faces kind of come out. I don't know how else to say it. It's true. It's funny, and I laugh about it to myself, but it's true. So when you're standing close to them, you feel this kind of like a sort of a pointed, kind of like a very angular, like sort of thing, energy. So they were standing right there, we're face to face, and they're squinting. And they're like, yeah, let's just think of it that way. But like, if you need to make a joke, like that's fine. The point is like, you sometimes ask questions about why things are happening. Basically, questions in general, this is what they were saying to me. Questions in general are something you should question. They tried to sort of, they know I like sort of weird things like that when there's like sort of wordplay. So they were trying to appeal to me, I think. They were like, questions are things you should question, and you should always question why you're questioning something. They sort of just reiterated it. It started to get played out, and I was like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? But they said you kind of tend to go too hard on the inquisitiveness, and it's a very good quality, and it's part of what makes you a good sort of verbal journal conduit. And it's part of why you're there, they said to me. But it doesn't really always come in handy when you're targeting that inquisitiveness in a particular direction. You have to be careful with how you're targeting that, And I was like, could you give me 6 examples? And they were like, that right there is all 6 of the examples. And then I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Because I was talking about numbers before. For some reason, when they said that, it was the power of the number 6, really, that I think that did it for me. I was just imagining the number, and I was like, oof. Ow, that's, oof. And I started I was like stretching. I was trying to like get my chi back. I just started doing yoga spontaneously. And I was like, oof. And they were like, what? And I'm like, oof. So that was kind of my week, and we can get into the podcast now. It's episode 88. We said that. I saw a movie. This was kind of cool. I saw a movie. I've been trying to see more movies, and I've talked about movies more because I've seen more of them recently. And it's something I've talked about wanting to do for a long time. About probably a year ago at this point on the podcast, I was watching On Cinema at the Cinema for the first time. And so I was going through all the movies they watched and saying which I had seen, and most of them I hadn't seen. I had not seen this one before, Reality Bites. Have you seen this one? It's from the 90s or something. When is this from? Hold on. Oh, sorry. You don't need to watch me search for it. You can just look at this. Reality Bites movie, 1994, mid-90s, solid mid-90s. And I'll tell you, they don't call it the mid-90s for no reason. Because it was mid, let me tell you. It did bite, and not in a good way. No, I mean, it was funny and entertaining. I watched it with friends, and it was funny and entertaining, and it was a good watch. The difference between a good watch and a good movie is, whew, you know what I mean? But it was a good watch. Very funny. Ben Stiller's in it. He's really funny. He's super young in it, but he's funny. He's like the old guy in it. He plays the old, like, serious, like, business guy who works in media, but is, like, very, like, sort of I feel like he played this character in another movie that was to a much more extreme extent, where he played a character who was like stuck in like calculating every single moment of his life or something, and then he meets a woman and they fall in love and he loosens up a little bit or something. In this one, it's not like that, but it's not about him. It's about Winona Ryder's character, and then Ethan Hawke's character mainly, and then Ben Stiller is just the fun like other guy. So in this film, she is like maybe just out of college or a few years out of college. He is a few years out of not going to college, I guess, and that's like the whole thing. She's like, she was valedictorian of her class, and then like is sort of experiencing the harsh world. It says cafe sex. What? That's weird. Does this say movie poster? Oh my god, it says movie poster. Is that in the actual movie poster? Holy. Oh my god, that is so funny. Okay, well, cool. Well, that's really funny. Cafe sex sort of draws you in, and then you see movie poster. Wow. Relation is kind of interesting. This is not a joke. When I was like younger, I used to think relationship was a weird word because we shouldn't use, like, the word ship is just weird and makes it sound weird and kind of formal and also just strange. And so I was like, we should just talk about having relations with people. Calling it a relationship just seems weird. It's like the ship is bound to sink, so just don't call it a relationship and it won't sink, is sort of how I could summarize that. I don't think like that anymore. I'd like to, we do our word of the day here and we do stuff like that, but I don't like to care too much about words in that way anymore. I think it's fine to just say relationship, and if that's the word, it's not weird, I do think there's some reason to just be like relation sometimes, because it just seems kind of superfluous. Like, in a sense, you're already saying relation, so why are you saying ship? It's like the institution of the relation. It's just an interesting thing. Maybe if we just thought more about our relations, we wouldn't have to, be in these capsized relationships that a lot of people struggle with, I think. But not me. My relationships are perfect, including with my coworkers here. I guess I could say kind of whatever I want. They won't know until the podcast airs, huh? I kind of like them, honestly. I kind of like them and miss them. I actually wish there was more of them. I wish there was like one more of them. So it was kind of a strange anti-capitalism theme, which I found confusing in the movie, because she is like this anti-capitalist, progressive-minded person, and or it's coded that way, at least. But Ethan Hawke, is like the sort of like dropout poet philosopher, doesn't have ambition and has philosophical rationalities for why it's wrong to have ambition, which I can sort of relate to on some level. But he's like a super petulant, immature version of a poet philosopher. And he doesn't really have character development. If you want to say at the very end, he changes because he puts on a suit, but it's kind of weird. And I was thinking about it in relation to my Grease video. Let me just pull that up. Can we just pull that up? Kind of makes, you're doing a video podcast, you might as well friggin'. And I want to promote these videos. Go back and watch the old videos. They're all really good. I got a lot worse as time went by at making videos. So, I put a cigarette behind my ear. Okay, so yeah, anyways, in this film, it ends with, she just changes her whole personality, and then the film's like, what do you think? Pretty good, huh? And then the guy doesn't change at all, and he's just a terrible person and doesn't improve. So in this, the guy doesn't change at all, but then also kind of manifests both characters in a sense. We'll get to Winona, but like, because he also just becomes who she wants him to be a little bit. He becomes like a little bit more willing to, like, he puts on a suit, but it was just because he came from visiting his dad, right? Or maybe he did some work stuff. I don't know. But like, it's sort of implied like maybe he's down to get a job. You know what I mean? At the end. And she, what happens with her? So sort of nothing changes with her, actually. Well, like, because she like falls for him and is very attracted to his maturity and his serious job. She meets him in a strange way. I forgot. I think she spills something on him. Oh yeah, she like. So also she's a creative person. She makes videos, and she's making a documentary. That's a big. Actually, it's called Reality Bites, so it's sort of a meta thing. She's making a documentary from the whole film. It's about this, and it's of her life and her friends' lives, and she's filming them, and she's making it. It's in the 90s, and she's doing like it's almost like a social media post, but it's she's making it into a documentary. I'm not trying to, and that's mean. She's making a cool, artful documentary, but it is just like her friends chilling out. So it's just funny to think like maybe she just wanted an outlet, like, like I can't even. How did people live before being able to post online about what they were doing all the time? But anyways, that's not my point. The point is, so she, as far as her growth, so she submits a film to his media thing, and they're having this like love affair, which makes him finally, so they're best friends. Sorry, I should have said that. They're lifelong best friends. So she's sort of the one who got away to him, and he's sort of the friend who she never saw as romance and sex material and so on. Like, sorry, sex material is not a good word, but like, you know what I mean? Like, she just never really wanted that type of relation with him, dynamic. And he didn't really want it, or probably was afraid to show he wanted it if you could tell she didn't, which was understandable if you don't want to hurt your friendship with someone. What are you supposed to do? Honestly, if you have a crush on a friend, like, what are you supposed to do? It's kind of complicated, but not that I would know that from experience. That would be weird. No, but so what is so the anti-capital? So anyways, so how does she change? So she submits a film to this guy's thing, his company. He's like, I'll get your thing, I'll get your documentary made, we'll make it. And then the sort of like part 2 into or maybe it's like the part 3 or the third act sort of like drama, or that initiates the third act, is like, his media company like messes up, like just like not messes up, like completely corporatizes her work and completely changes it. Obviously, it's sort of a predictable plot in a sense, but whatever. It's a fine beat. And then she is obviously horrified and like, how could you do that to my work? And so there's a real kind of professional, personal boundary thing going on here. Because then she's like, I'm obviously not going to use the video in that way. And also we're broken up and so on. And then, unfortunately, that is exactly what leads her to hook up with Ethan Hawke, if I remember correctly, is literally that. And I was watching it with my friends, and when she leaves him because of the video thing, I said, please let this not be what initiates her getting with Ethan Hawke. And she did. That's it. I believe that's exactly how it went, which is just not a very interesting character choice. I don't know. But whatever. No, that's not the point. The point is, okay, she does that. That is fine, interesting. The point is, what that means, though, is that we do not like him, right? Like, obviously, we're not, like, and he wasn't like, okay, he was like comforting or good that one night maybe or something, but then he's like super immature the next morning. He's like this, like, he's like 21 or something. I don't know what his character is, but like, you're meant to be like, he's immature. You're meant to be like, he clearly needs to grow up. That's even the line someone says, like her other best friend. She lives with her best friend and then he moves in, sleeps on their couch, blah, blah, blah. That's how it goes. And so she's hooking up with him while he sleeps on her couch. And then they hook up. And that's fine. But the point is, when you're watching that, you're like, oh man, the protagonist is making a bad choice, right? Like that's weird to hook up with your lifelong best friend finally just because you just broke up with this other guy. That's like not a great time to hook up with your lifelong best friend, I don't think. So you're like, that's not good. Okay, and it obviously leads to a bad situation, and it does. Okay, but then she decides at the end to get together with Ethan Hawke. You know, and it's like, okay. It's not unrealistic, and I guess reality bites, but it was just like, am I supposed to feel good about this? Ben Stiller was the most likable. And the anti-capitalism, yeah, it just doesn't go anywhere because, like, it's kind of made fun of in a sense. Like, it's not... There's just this sense that I guess idealism is not good, which I can understand from a materialist perspective. But yeah, I guess it's this idea that reality bites, but you gotta just, suck it up sometimes, which is, it's not wrong that you need to get a job usually, but unless you want to have a really low quality of life, but or have a better chance of having a low quality of life. But the movie, obviously it's not very political. So it's just these weird sort of gestures at it. And yeah, I just thought they were codependent in a sense. I mean, Winona and Ethan, but yeah, it was funny because it was the classic story of like the best friend that's always been there. You know, that like trope of like, it's the best friend who's always been there. And you're like, wow, they've been there all along and I didn't even notice. Except it's done in a way where, like, because it's so quick after she breaks up with Ben Stiller, who, by the way, Ben Stiller, as I said, is likable. He's like mature. He corporatizes her video and completely messes it up. But like, you get the sense that he could totally learn from that. Like, his character is such a good guy. Like, it's so clear. It's not like a small difference. Like, his character is a little bit older and like way more mature, like just like very respectful, consistent. And this other guy is moody. And she, in reality, him and her break up in maximum a few years because like it's just there's different levels of maturity and they were at very different stages, it seemed like. So you like want her to be with the guy who's like more mature and she has a nice dynamic with. He like totally could have made up for that video thing. Like maybe they get back together after briefly, I forget. But so it's like the classic story of falling for the friend that was there all along, right? Except usually you want them to get together. Here you don't. They have a bad dynamic and you're like, fuck. So, all right, talked about that. We were gonna, that wasn't gonna be the main section, but that we should consider that the main section because, I mean, we're not gonna have time to talk about other stuff, right? I'm looking around, pretending there are people there. I feel so stupid. I'm just used to there being people there. But no, we're not going to have time for we're going to talk about women and chess, which is going to be a great main section, probably tomorrow. Tomorrow for you, if you're watching these in order in the future, the distant future. But next week, we'll talk about women and chess. I think we can wait. We'll just wait on that. And we probably won't really have time for a lot, actually, now that I think about it. But let's talk about the word of the day at least, and then we'll get a little clock check. The word of the day is AirTag. AirTag is a tracking device developed by Apple. This is not a word. This is not a fucking word. I wish there were people around. It's only fun looking around when there's people around. Damn. This is not a word. But yeah, this is a device. This is a branded device. It acts as a key finder. It helps people find personal objects such as keys, bags, apparel. To locate lost items, AirTags use Apple's crowdsourced Find My network, estimated in early 2021 to consist of approximately 1 billion devices worldwide that detect and anonymously report emitted Bluetooth signals. AirTags are compatible with any iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch device capable of running blah, blah, blah. And yeah, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, it is interesting though. It's not a word, but it's interesting. You know that these devices can can work this way and be detected this way. So what I thought was interesting is it can be used for a lot, but there's a lot of criticism because stalkers have used it. They hide it in someone's bag and then they track them, or hide it in their car or whatever, which is bad. And then I read about something called tracker detect. So I looked that up and I was reading the reviews, which apparently a lot of people don't like tracker detect. Tracker detect. So, when I read something like this, no data shared with third parties, in my head, I read it as no data shared with third parties. It's like, what? I wonder what those terms mean. So I just thought these reviews were kind of interesting because it's just interesting to think about people, like almost 5,000 people getting a product. At least some percent of those, like I read some of these stories and they were really interesting. Like people just had really interesting stories where it was like, oh, they're like, one person was like, I was involved in an affair and I was trying to, and it didn't work super well, you know? Last was updated February 22. Wow. Doesn't run in the background. If I'm already under the impression an Apple tag is... Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have said this. This helps you detect these tags. This is what this device does. It detects these tags and other devices. So if someone was tracking you, you would detect it, which I don't recommend this app. I don't know. I think if you're worried about people tracking you, there's probably a sort of deeper solution necessary beyond getting an app like this. Maybe it helps some people feel safe, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like I don't know what I was supposed to say about that. Honestly, putting AirTag as the word of the day is kind of unconscionable. To be completely honest, it's kind of unconscionable. Is it filming?
Sort of like the skeptic science blogger type of area, I think. That's what I haven't read his books, but that's what his books kind of look like to me.
And he writes, and you would think that Robert Wright, like sort of his profile would be somewhat Brett Weinstein sympathetic.
Could be. The names of his books, The Moral Animal, The Evolution of God, Why Buddhism is True, kind of like in that, it's definitely where Weinstein came out, similar space.
So Brett Weinstein is seriously suggesting that Democrats have maintained the vaccine mandate for the military because their goal is degrading military readiness. In the past, I've argued that some of his crazy-sounding theories aren't completely crazy. I'm not arguing that now. Well, first off, you also have to assume that the vaccine, either the vaccine itself is going to somehow degrade the military.
Instead of do the opposite.
Which
I thought that there was 5G in it, right? Wouldn't that make you a bit more of like you could be your own cell phone tower?
There would be communication skills.
That's weird. The button was just weird to record or not record. That was weird. Sorry, I just took another break and just had a quick bite to eat. And I was actually watching a video by The Majority Report while I was eating, because I'm not gonna not watch a video. I was eating a piece of bread and put some really good cream cheese type of. It was fake cream cheese, but it was good fake cream cheese. And that was kind of a weird, just like snack, just after dinner snack. But, the bread's going to go bad. So someone had to do it. The bread was going to go bad. and I wanted a little snack. Here at the podcast studios, it's not every day you have bread sitting around. So I got a little text on my app, and I have a bread app, and it tells me if there's bread that's left out in the kitchen here at the podcast studios. And so every time it does, the app gives me a little notification, and it says bread alert. It's kind of funny. It's like red alert, but it's brown. It's light brown, color of so I had to go do that just then. But no worries. Anyways, I was I wish I knew if I. So it was weird when I was going to start the recording just now. Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. The one good thing about this whole not having the staff here on a night episode is I was actually told that now one job is being taken off my plate. Now, if you've been listening or watching for a while, you know that I don't want to say complain. I express myself emphatically about having to, or getting the opportunity to, as they try to tell me to put it, kind of wear a lot of hats here. Wear a lot of hats. I wore a hat 2 episodes ago, or last episode, 2 episodes ago, the public episode, which next week will be public too. So, welcome in the public. Please be friendly to the public. Okay, there's been a lot of cliquishness. Please be friendly to the public when we do a public episode. But I was wearing a hat for my last public episode, but I don't mean that. I just mean like metaphorically, I do a lot of roles here. One role that I don't have to do anymore, and this is official, is editing. So that's really good. I'm so happy about that because that was the one thing I hated to do it, and they were like, you have to do it. Like you have to, because we get these, we get the recordings and then we have to cut them. There's a few tweaks you have to make. Now that we're not using this camera, it's a lot less tweaks. Everything's integrated, the audio and the video. It's great. But there's some tweaks you have to make. So I would have to do that. It's a full hour of work every week, and that's a lot to add on to my plate. So, but they would be like, no, only you know how to get it right. And I'm like, no, anyone can edit right. Do you know how easy it is to be like, that clip needs to not be here. Let me take it out. Stoop. That's all it is. And I'm good. I'm good at it. Like the Breaking Bad video, I'm good at it. I edited that well. And my Better Call Saul videos, I got progressively better in how I edited them. And you can sort of tell that. Edited. Okay, anyways, we're not going to do that. So what else about when I was, I don't have to edit these anymore. That's the good thing. And so, yeah, I guess I'll meet whoever the editor is. Apparently her name is Monica, and she's been editing for a long time. So I'm like, great, bring it on. Bring it on, Monica, was what I said. And they were like, don't be weird, please. And I'm like, I'm not going to be weird. It was just a pun. But they are going to... Monica's going to be editing this episode, so I'm really grateful about that, and I'm just done. I don't even have to worry about it. I don't have to ever worry about it. A great example was the bread. You know what I mean? And I just don't even have to worry about it. Out. So I was eating bread, and I was watching this Majority Report episode clip, because I like watching them comment on someone like Brett Weinstein, who is just the best people to watch getting critiqued for entertainment are like fairly harmless. Like, not harmless. He's not harmless. He spreads a lot of bad ideas. But like, there's a degree of like outward aggressiveness that makes it an unpleasant watch while you're eating bread. You know what I mean? So he's like calm and foolish and kind of delusional. And so they call him out very well. And to me, this is just another Majority Report clip, and I'm enjoying it. And it's, good commentary. And, I thought there's nothing that would like jump out to me. And then I look at the comments and I was a little confused. I was confused immediately. At first I was confused because it said, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. And I'm like, but Brett Weinstein in this video is discussing like his theory that the government was mandating soldiers take vaccines so that when they didn't want to, it would weaken our defenses for some reason and weaken our military. And I'm like, so how is that you know what I mean? How is that discussing people? Like, I don't get how they're joining the critique of Brett when they say that. And it's just like my brain couldn't process it because this is a top comment. And then I saw this and I'm like, okay, yeah, cognitive dissonance for sure. I don't know exactly how Brett has cognitive dissonance, but, and then I start realizing, oh, the comments are all negative. And this is a good example, and that's probably why it's so upvoted. A lot of the comments are just referring to other things they think Brett was right about. And not responding to the point of the video. And, you know, a lot of the comments were like literally all the comments are negative. See, I mean, so many. I was looking, this will not age well. And then like recent comments, like I was looking at recent comments because I was just bored while I was eating bread. They're all negative in different ways. Maybe one might be positive. It's just interesting. I've never seen this before with a video I liked. Like, it's just actually very strange to see just like constant negative comments. Oh wait, there was one. Of course he is, about Brett being a charlatan, and my God, look at that rug. So there, that person gets it. And like, notice how none of these comments are saying, here's why you're wrong about Brett's theory about the military forces and the Maxine Band-Aids. So just very interesting. I've really never seen this on videos that I like. It's so interesting. Like no one making an argument. Brett was right about everything. Vaccines made lots of money for Big Pharma. That has always been corrupt. Like, and none of this is about what the video is about. So it's just interesting to be like, it's almost an ad hominem, right? To be like, it's like a reverse ad hominem when you're like, because this person is right and good, they must be right and good. So it's just interesting. But now we have to get to the desk section, right? There was going to be this whole fucking desk section. You know, right? Are we gonna, can we do it? Can I do it? No. No, I can't do that. You know what I mean? I can't do that. I'm gonna give up because I think I feel like I made a good point in this video, and there was a lot in there that I think people will get a lot out of. So I think I'll just stop right now. Let me just make sure I have all my notes. Let me tell you about the desks next time. I might even have to winnow some of these desks down, kind of chisel the desks a little bit, just to kind of make sense of it. So okay, well, how do we feel about ending the episode? Or you want to go on with your day too? I don't need it to be like an hour long. You know what I mean? We'll just save the desks. It's hard to do everything on your own, you know, when you don't have people around. It's just been a super weird episode in that sense. But what I will do is I will take a second to thank my, I almost said sponsors, and really you are my sponsors because I've never had a sponsorship. So thank you to the members and the patrons. We'll start with the members. Thanks for giving money to this channel, y'all. Thank you, Simply Snaps, Jasmine, Eva, Sadie, Jifa, Jaden, Trusty Ghost, Hollow Moon, Pit Inhabitant, and 39% Weird. And on the old Patreon, thank you to Minus, MT, Caleb, Vlad, Emily, Jesse, Miranda, Ruben, HP, Ibnomad1, Oliver, MK, Matt, Scott, X, Noah, Anastasios, Adobe, Cult, Linguist, Sam, King, Margot, Tom, Stephanie, Verbal Gerbil, Miles, Hugh, Donovan, Redgrove, Elemancy, Platinum, Sarge, Rabid Dog 008, Jen, Ian, Russ, Irene, MJ, Gaff45er, Sweet, Ryan, Madeline, Josh, Mr. Moxie, Brent, Molly, Kyle, Ashley, Jack, Scott, Luca, Isaiah, Gunther, Thulusaurus Rex, Miles, and User. User? I barely know her. That's pretty... no. Okay, well, goodbye.
This is a podcast or something like that.